presenting alongside with my colleague Roda Al-Muhiri from Taxpayer Service Department. We have arranged this webinar to guide you through the registration process. It is important to note that corporate tax registration is currently open for all entity types, and as you may know, the FTA has published decision number 3 for 2024 about registration timeline for corporate tax, where legal entities need to register for corporate tax based on the issuing month of the trade license. Today, we will walk you through the timeline specified for registration of taxable person for corporate tax and the demo of the process of registering and forming corporate tax group. We hope that this session will provide you with necessary information required to help you complete your corporate tax registration. During the webinar, a survey is available for you to provide feedback for the session. Before we start, please make sure to follow these steps if you are using a mobile phone. Make sure to visit your mobile setting and look for WebEx Meet, then allow WebEx Meet to access your microphone. We will be back in 5 minutes to allow more people to attend. Hello everyone, We will walk you through the agenda for today. We will go through the introduction of the session along with the brief of Federal Tax Authority Decision number 3 of 2024, the timeline for registration and taxable person for corporate tax. We will then provide a demo of the registration process in addition to forming a corporate tax group and summarize the key takeaway from the session. At the end, there will be a short Q&A session. The question will be limited to corporate tax registration process, and for any technical information, please refer to the FTA awareness sessions, which is available in our official website. With this, I hand over to my colleague Roda Al-Mahiri to walk you through the webinar.
Thank you so much, Nasser, for taking us through today's agenda. We will start with the introduction of this webinar. We have been scheduled this webinar to walk you through the timeline specified on corporate tax registration process, in addition to how to register for corporate tax and form a corporate tax group on Emiratax portal. If you are already registered for VAT and excise tax, then the form for corporate tax registration will be pre-populated on the basis of the information available from Emiratax. However, you can update the pre-populated information that is editable. And for those taxpayers who are not registered for VAT or excise tax, but are required to register for corporate tax, then the registration form will need to be populated with all the required details. Kindly note, for taxpayers who are members of a VAT group, they will be required to register separately as individual legal entities for corporate tax purposes, and members can then make an application to form a separate corporate tax group. As mentioned by my colleague Nasser, there will be a question and answer session at the end of the webinar to answer any questions related to corporate tax registration. So let's start first with the Federal Tax Authority Decision number 3 of 2024 that prescribes the timeline for registration of taxable persons for corporate tax purposes. Starting with the first category of the resident juridical persons, including free zone persons who were incorporated, established, or recognized before March 1st of 2024. It will be depending on your months of license issue date and the deadline prescribes to apply for the tax registration. For example, if your months of license issue date is in June, your deadline will be 31st of August 2024. And if your months of license issue date is in July, your deadline to apply for the corporate tax registration will be 30 September of 2024. And in case if your license issue date is in August or September, your deadline will be 31st of October of 2024. And in case if your months of license issue date is in October or November, your deadline will be 30 November of 2024. And last but not least, if the month of license issue date is in December, your deadline will be 31st of December of 2024. And in case if a juridical person does not have a license, their deadline to apply for the corporate tax registration will be 3 months from March 1st of 2024. Moving to the resident juridical persons, including free zone persons who were established or recognized on or after March 1st of 2024. Starting with the person who is incorporated, established, or recognized under the applicable legislation of another country or foreign territory and who is effectively managed and controlled in the UAE, their deadline will be 3 months from the end of the person's financial year. Moving to the person who is incorporated or otherwise established or recognized under the applicable legislation in the UAE, including a free zone person, their deadline will be 3 months from the date of incorporation, establishment, or recognition. Moving to the next category of the non-resident juridical persons before March 1st of 2024. For the person who has a permanent establishment in the country, their deadline will be 9 months from the date of starting the permanent establishment. And for the non-resident juridical person with a nexus in the UAE, their deadline will be 3 months from March 1st of 2024. Moving to the same category, but after March 1st of 2024. So for the non-resident juridical person, on or after March 1st of 2024. For the person who has a permanent establishment in the country, their deadline will be within a period not exceeding 6 months from the date of starting the permanent establishment. And for the non-resident person with a nexus in the UAE, their deadline will be within a period not exceeding 3 months from the date of establishing the relationship. Moving to the last category before starting with the demos, the natural persons conducting business or business activity. For the resident natural person who runs a business or carries out business activity during the calendar year 2024 or subsequent years, and whose total turnover generated for each Gregorian calendar year exceeds the limit specified in the relevant tax legislation, their deadline will be 31st of March of the following Gregorian calendar year. And for the non-resident natural person who runs a business or carries out business activity during the Gregorian calendar year 2024 or subsequent years, and whose total turnovers generated exceeds the limit specified in the relevant tax legislation, their deadline will be 3 months from the date of fulfilling the conditions set out to determine taxable person. Moving to the corporate tax registration demonstration. So we will start first with the corporate tax registration in Tax portal. So starting by going to the Tax portal and clicking on login, you will enter your registered email address along with the password and the security code showing on your screens. The steps are mainly 4 main steps to provide by all the given information, the required information. So you will click on login and you will go to the taxable person profile you would like to proceed with. You will click on view and you will go to the corporate tax registration where it says action, and then you will click on register. Once you click on register, you will have the corporate tax registration service details. You can go through them and you click on the checkbox at the end to confirm that you have read the above instructions and guidelines. So you will start with the first step, which is the entity details, by entering the entity type, entity subtype, and the date of incorporation. You will upload the certificate of incorporation either in PDF or document format. You will enter as well the exact corporate tax period, and you will move to the next step. The next step is the identification details, where you will enter the trade license issuing authority, trade license number, trade license issue date, and trade license expiry date. That should be accurate to proceed with your application. You will enter as well the legal name in English and Arabic and the trade name in English and Arabic. As mentioned earlier, you will upload all the documents that should be updated and validated. So you will upload as well a copy of the trade license either in PDF or document format. Then you will move to the business activities details, where you will have the section to add the business activity after uploading all the required documents. So you will go to add business activity, you will enter the industry, you will choose the industry and the main group, the subgroup, and the activity where the activity code will show automatically. Then you will proceed to the owners list where you will click on add owner and you will enter the owner type, either legal or natural person, and you will add the first name in English of the owner along with the last name in English and the first name in Arabic with the last name in Arabic. If the owner does hold a valid Emirates ID, you will click on yes and you will enter the required details, information, and upload the documents. If not, you will click on no and you will need to enter the passport details. And kindly note, if you are a previous user in Emiratax, your information will be pre-populated, so kindly make sure to update any outdated information. Moving with the passport details, you will enter the passport number, issuing country of the passport, and the passport expiry date. You will then upload a validated copy of the passport either in PDF or document format as mentioned earlier. You will need as well to enter the shareholding percentage of the owner and you will proceed to the next step. The third step is the contact details where you will enter the country, the building name and number, the street, the area, city, and emirate. Once you make sure that all the given information is provided, you will need to enter the country code along with the mobile number and the country code along with the landline number. You will enter the contact details of the email ID to receive the notifications and updates, and you will have the PO box as an optional. You will have the chance either to cancel or save as draft or proceed to the next step. In case if you miss any information, you will have the red boxes guiding you where did you miss the information to proceed with your application. So once you make sure that you provided all the information, you will proceed to the next step, which is the fourth step of the authorized signatory. You will click on add authorized signatory where it shows the the plus icon on your right hand of the screen. You start entering the authorized signatory details such as the first name in English, last name in English, the first name in Arabic, and last name in Arabic. You will enter the country code along with the mobile number and email ID. Kindly make sure that the designation entered for the authorized signatory is accurate. And once more, for the authorized signatory and for the owners, you will need to enter either their Emirates ID or the passport that should be validated. So in case of the passport, you will enter the passport number, passport issuing country, passport expiry date, along with uploading the document or PDF. Then you will enter the source of authorization, either a POA or MOA, and you will click on add. Once you click on add, you will click on next step, which is the last step and fifth step of reviewing and declaring all the given information is accurate, where you will have the chance to go through each step and you can edit any of these steps if you have missed any information. And you will click on the checkbox at the end that you declare that all the given information is true, accurate, and completed to the best of your knowledge and belief. Once you click on submit, you will receive your application has been submitted successfully, and you will have a reference number under your application to follow up, and you can view your registration status in Emiratax portal where it says now it's a review. So that's all for the corporate tax registration demonstration. We hope that it was helpful. It's mainly 4 main steps where you can find them in Emiratax portal. So let's discuss some of the common issues that are impacting the corporate tax registration process that we've mentioned in the previous demo. You need to ensure that the correct entity type and entity subtype is selected. And if you are already registered in Emiratax, please ensure to update your identification documents. And for the shareholding percentages, the shareholders with the 25% or more shareholding, they must be registered under the ownership details were mentioned in the previous demo. And for the incorporation date, it must match the company's commencement date stated in the MOE. And last but not least, you need to verify the exact tax period. Moving to forming corporate tax group demonstration, and before we get into the demo, I would like to highlight some key points in forming the corporate tax group. The structure of the form is mainly 3 main steps. So we divided the demo to 3 videos to make it easily for you. The structure, as we've mentioned, the first step where the parent company raises a request for the subsidiaries to form the tax group. And if approved by at least one subsidiary, the parent company can then proceed with the application. Second step or second video will be presented in a few minutes, will be where the subsidiary accepts or rejects the request from the parent company. So the first 2 steps will be mainly between the parent company and the subsidiary, where the third step and the last video will be for the parent company, where they can proceed with the final application to the FTA. So as mentioned, we will start first with the first video where the parent company raises a request to the subsidiary, and the second video we will log in as the subsidiary, and we will accept or reject the request received from the parent company. And the last video will be the final application, where the parent company submits the final application to the FTA. So let's start first with the first demo of forming the corporate tax group, where the parent company raises a request to the subsidiary. So you will log in as a parent company, you will click on the taxable person profile you would like to proceed, you will go to the corporate tax, and you will click on CT group form tax group. You will click on view all, and the following section explains the steps to be taken by the parent company as mentioned for submitting the request for the subsidiary. So you need to create a new request for the subsidiary to form the corporate tax group. You will click on new request to initiate the request, and you will click on yes to proceed with the application. Once you click on proceed, you will have the service details of the instructions and guidelines to help you understand the important requirements related to forming the corporate tax group. So you will have the information such as the required documents, expected time to complete the documents, and along with the service details. You will click on the checkbox at the end of the page to confirm that you have read the above instructions and guidelines. Then you will click on Start to proceed with the application. So the application is mainly 3 main steps, where the first step will be the details of the tax group and the parent company, and the second step will be the information related to the subsidiary, and the third step will be reviewing and declaring all the given information. So the first step, you will review the parent company information, where the second step and the most important step, where you can add the TRNs of the subsidiaries you would like to send the request to, and the last step, you will review and declare that all the given information is accurate. So kindly make sure that the first 2 steps will be mainly between the parent company and the subsidiary, where the FTA will receive the final application by the parent company once it gets approved by at least one subsidiary. So the first step, after you review all the given information that is pre-populated, you will click on next step, where it will take you to the information related to the subsidiaries. You will click on the plus icon where it says add TRN, and you will enter the TRN of the subsidiaries you would like to send the request to. You can provide more than one TRN, and you will confirm at the end that you would like to register as a parent entity for the tax group. You will click on next step, where you will have mainly all the given information to review it and declare it by clicking on the checkbox at the end, and you will click on submit. Once you click on submit, your information, your application has been submitted to the subsidiary. So let's move now and log in. We're moving to the next demo, and we're logging in as a subsidiary now to receive the request from the parent company. So once you log in as a subsidiary, you will go to the taxable person profile, and you will click on corporate tax. Once you click on corporate tax, you will have the corporate tax applications where it says pending application. You will go to pending application, and you will click on actions and then review, where it says review. Once you click on review, you will receive the request from the parent company. So as we've mentioned in the previous demo, you will have the services details to have an overlook of the registration process, or for the request process, where you will have all the needed information. You will confirm at the end that you have read the above instructions and guidelines, and you will click on start. Once you click on start, it will be mainly 3 main steps, where the first step will be about the parent company, and the second step will be the information related to the subsidiary, and the third step will be reviewing and declaring that all the given information is accurate and up to your knowledge and belief. So mainly the grayed out zone, or the gray out area, will be pre-populated, so you need to make sure that all the given information is accurate before either accepting or rejecting the application from the parent company. So kindly make sure that the first 2 steps is between the parent company and the subsidiary only. So once you click on next, you will have the information related to the subsidiary, where you will view all your information, and you will click on yes to proceed with the application. So you will click on next step, and the last step will be either accepting, approving, or rejecting the application. So you will go through the steps, and you will click on the checkbox at the end after you make sure that all the given information is accurate and to the best of your knowledge and belief, and you will have the chance either to reject the request of the parent company to form the tax group, or to approve the request from the parent company. So once you click on approve, a notification will be sent to the parent company that you have been approved, that you has been approved successfully the request. So now we will present to you the final application by the parent company demo, where the following section will explain the steps to be taken by the parent company for submitting the final application to the FTA to complete the form of the corporate tax group. So you will log in back as a parent company, and you will click on Form Tax Group Final Application. Kindly make sure that the previous 2 demos were for the request of the subsidiary. Now we will do the request for the final application. So once you click on yes, you will have as well the first page of the services details, where you can go through all the given information and make sure that you have read all the steps and service details. Once you go through them all, you can click on the checkbox at the end to confirm that you have read the above instructions and guidelines. Once you click on Start, you will proceed with the first step of forming the tax group of the final application that should be submitted by the parent company to the FTA, where it will be mainly the details of the tax group as a parent company, and the second step will be the information related to the subsidiaries, and the third step will be the tax group additional details, and the fourth step will be reviewing and declaring that all the given information is accurate and you can edit any missed information. So you would need to make sure that all the information that is pre-populated is accurate and up to date. That will help us in reviewing your application. So you will enter the tax group details such as the name of the group in English and the name of the group in Arabic, and you will click on yes, and you will have the chance either to cancel or save as draft or proceed to the next step. So once you click on next step, it will be mainly the subsidiaries information, where you will have whoever approved, and you can click on next step. So once you click on next step, it will be the tax group additional details, where you will enter the accounting standards used by the tax group and the tax group period which tax group will take effect. Next, you will go through all the information, and you will click on yes to proceed, and you will click on next step after completing all the mandatory fields. So the third step, as we've mentioned, it will be about the tax group additional details, where you can and the last step, of reviewing and declaring that the all given information is accurate and up to your knowledge and belief. You will click on the checkbox and you will click on submit. With that, the application has been submitted successfully from the parent company to the FTA. And it usually takes us 20 business working days to approve your application. And if there are any clarifications that needs to be done from your side, we will send you back the application with our comments so you can see the needed information. We hope that the demo was helpful, and we will move now to the key takeaways before moving to the Q&A session. So as we've mentioned, that the corporate tax registration is now available for all entity types except from the federal government entity and emirate government entity. Kindly read the Federal Tax Authority Decision number 3 of 2024, which was effective on 1st of March of 2024, that prescribes the timeline specified on corporate tax registration based on your trade license issuing month. Additionally, kindly read the corporate tax clarification on registration timelines for taxable persons. And for those taxpayers who are not registered for VAT or excise tax but are required to register for corporate tax, then the registration form will need to be populated and filled by the taxpayer with all the required details. Kindly read the terms and conditions of Article 40 for forming the corporate tax group, and check the tax group guide as well. Once the registration process is completed, the FTA will review the submitted application and may require additional information in order to process your application. Upon the approval of the application, you will be notified by email and be issued with the corporate tax registration number. With that, we've reached to the Q&A session, where I'll hand over to my colleague Nasser Al-Ali.
Thank you, Roda, for providing clear instruction how to register for corporate and forming tax group. Before moving to the Q&A session, please follow us on our social media channels to stay updated on upcoming workshops and access our services. And now we will leave the QR code of the survey on the screen. Your participation is greatly appreciated to learn more about your experience in today's session. Thank you everyone for participating in the survey. We will now move to the Q&A session. Okay, hello Roda. Roda, we have received common questions through FTA channels and need to provide an answer. The first question, Roda, is the corporate tax TRN different from VAT TRN?
Yes, these are different TRNs. A TRN consists of 15 digits, with the last digit representing the tax type. For corporate tax, the last digit is 1. Taxpayers will be required to register for UAE corporate tax even if they are already registered for VAT.
Thank you, Roda, for the clear answer. We have, Roda's second question. Do we need to register separately for the branches of UAE juridical person?
UAE branches of a UAE juridical person are not required to separately register or file for UAE corporate tax. Branches are not separate legal persons from the head entity and therefore do not need to register separately, but the details of the branches need to be included in the registration application of the head entity.
Thank you, Roda. If I am a newly incorporated limited liability company, do I need to register for corporate tax?
Yes, all taxable persons, including newly incorporated LLCs, should register for corporate tax.
Moving, Roda, to the question number 5. If a natural person turnover does not exceed 1 million dirham, are they required to register and file a tax return?
Natural person is only required to register and file tax return only when their turnover exceeds the threshold of 1 million dirhams within a Gregorian calendar year.
Moving, Roda, to the question number 6. If I am an LLC incorporated in the UAE and want to claim a small business relief, do I still need to register for corporate tax?
Yes, and as prescribed by the corporate tax law, all juridical taxable person will be required to register for UAE corporate tax and obtain a corporate tax registration number, regardless of the level of their revenue in that tax period.
Thank you, Roda. Moving to a tax group, how can I register in a tax group?
As mentioned and as explained in the demos, all companies will be required to register separately, and the legal entities that wish to form a corporate tax group are required to register individually first, and then may apply to form a corporate
city return.
Yes, all free zone entities will be required to register and tax of whether qualifying free zone person or not.
Thank you, Roda, for your time and for providing a clear answer to the questions. And now we are reaching the end of this session. Thank you everyone for attending today's workshop. Please visit our official website and follow our social media to stay updated on our events and activities related to corporate tax. Thank you and have a lovely day.